Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome along to bus stop number 2. Obviously, we started this as a little mini series here on the bus last week. And the first thing I need to say again, just to remind everybody, because I did watch the premiere last week, we are not live just now. We are not live. So, all the questions you're putting in there, like, Phil, Boise, what do you think of this? We don't know. I'm sure it's great, or it's maybe not great. I don't know either way. I'm just going to give both reactions there. So, yeah. And we're not live, so it's a pre-recorded one, just a wee sort of like 10, 15 minutes. I said 10 minutes last time, we went for 20 minutes, so we'll call it 15. Just a wee sort of catch up of what's going on the bus, what's happened this week on the bus, and just any other little stories out there that we wish to talk about. So, obviously, you know who I am. I am obviously Phil McGinley of the Boise Bus, and I'm joined by the main man himself, Russell Boyce. How the devil are you?
I'm good, Phil. It is time to talk what is happening on the bus and any other wee takeaways you want to get from me, Phil. I'm game.
Oh, good stuff, mate. As he said last week, I want you to probe me, Phil, which could easily be a quote taken out of context, you know. I want you to probe me, Phil. Well, hold on, steady on there, Russell, steady on, mate.
It's my weekend.
Oh my God, we're off to a good start already. But well, let's just get talking then about the bus, mate. What's happened this week on the bus and what's coming in the next week and so on. Because obviously this week is your birthday. Try to do a post-match pish after the Dundee United game, given you'll be in Glasgow, you'll be out having a good time. It's going to be a wee bit difficult, isn't it? But just let's have a wee conflab of what's came this week and what's still to come next week.
Well, totally, mate. I mean, it's been one of those weeks where, again, we've delivered as much as we possibly can for the limited resources we have. We try and create fresh sort of shows, despite it all being really just on a StreamYard format. But we do try and keep evolving, keep trying to make it fresh, try to keep people interested and sort of pique their interest with different varieties of time slots or types of shows. And, you know, this being one of them now. This weekend will be a bit different, but there's good news with it as well. And that's not because it's fucking my birthday. I mean, I'm embarrassed at the age.
Hey, I'm 37, you.
No, well, I know, but you're a wee bit more grown up than me, Phil, for your age. You know what I mean? You're a wee bit more. Come on, I can't grow a beard, mate. But this weekend, obviously, it's a shame that we won't be doing PMP. However, the joy from a personal point of view is to go back to Paradise tomorrow. So, I mean, the first time this season, it's not feasible for me when I work every Saturday to be there every week, right? And then you'll know by the fact I'm getting a run through to Jonathan's bet of 9:45 tomorrow morning. It gives you sort of an idea of how the time, like the actual traveling time, it's a mission. But when I get the chance to do it, I'm all for it, and I cannot wait to go tomorrow. What does it mean for PMP? Well, we won't be able to do it tomorrow. However, it sees the return, Phil, of the Sunday sesh.
Sunday sesh, okay.
We're going to do Boise's birthday Sunday sesh. So a couple of bits of alliteration there, mate. We'll do. We're going to do a Sunday session in the afternoon. Spoke to Terry; he seemed pretty keen. I think Mark's game. I'm sure you'll be game. We will do an afternoon show which will combine PMP and just. I think we can have a couple of beers, mate, and laugh at me being 35 and dyeing my hair.
Fair dues, mate. I look forward to it. Now, speaking of shows, though, obviously this was the second week, and you did look like you were regretting the getting up early part already. But in the end, it's all worth it because the Breakfast Bar had episode 2, decent numbers again this week. So fair play on deciding to go into that market. And what really inspired that? What was your sort of thinking behind? Do you know what? Let's do a breakfast show.
It's an interesting story because see the Boise's Breakfast Bar. That was an idea I had 2.5 years ago, before I even knew I was going to be doing Celtic podcasting, right? Podcasting and all that. I wanted to do a breakfast. I went, that'd be a brilliant name for a radio show, and I wanted to get into that sort of vibe. So the name's always been there. Then about 6 months ago, now you'll know this, and fanboyfootball.com, who were massive in the growth of the channel at the beginning, mate. They were, the guys who supply the merchandise, and they've always, even still now I speak with them, they're so supportive. He helped with that logo, the neon lights one, which I know you've tweaked further, Phil, and it's got that. But he loved the idea, but the idea initially was going to be, before I realised the copyright rulings, was it was going to be like talk Celtic, but at the end of every show, I was going to promote like an unsigned band, an unsigned act, and play their song to play us out.
Right.
What you realise is it's not quite that straightforward, and your whole show won't make the 79 pence ad revenue that we're all about, Phil. You know, but it just becomes a minefield. Basically, you can breach the copyright rules of YouTube, and the channel can actually get pulled as a whole if you get 3 strikes.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Obviously, the 79 pence ad revenue is bollocks. It's 89 pence. But genuinely, it's something that would have actually put us in a sticky wicket. So having to sacrifice that, what I had to do was then wait till we'd grown in numbers, and then get to a stage where, would this be feasible? Would it not? And I started thinking about the average Joe going to work and going, oh, fucking turn the radio off. Don't listen to Grado. Do you know what I mean? Don't listen to any of these plant pots and talk sport. The Boise bus will pick you up. And we do it once a week, because you're absolutely right, as you alluded to. That's about as many days of the week I can get up at that time, mate.
Was it 8:30 for the week you started? I wish I could sleep in at 8 o'clock every morning. That'd be a luxury for me.
Aye, mate. I'm in makeup for 7:30, man. That's what it's all about, remember?
Well, I'm glad you also mentioned numbers there, because obviously this was like the second month in a row that the channel got over 40,000 views in the month, which is pretty good going. So, I mean, you know, we're coming up to a year of the Boise bus. Did you really think that after a year it would be having that much traction?
No. I mean, even I can't believe that, to be honest with you. When it comes to the numbers that we're getting right now, over 40,000 2 months in a row, it's fucking thanks to every single person who watches it, contributes, does all the good stuff, Phil.
All the good stuff, man.
I mean, we started. I mean, the thing is with the channel, we've been the most buzzing about is we created this interactive sort of format, which I'm all for seeing now happen right across the board. But you never seen a channel this interactive before. It's what we started it with. Almost every comment getting brought up now to a stage where, with the comments, you can lose one, you can miss one. Case in point being, obviously, last night there was a comment that was completely bang out of order by someone who's appeared on the channel. We can't get away for that. And obviously a tough decision was made first thing this morning. You're aware of that. And they'll no longer be part of the channel going forward, based on that comment. But on the whole, it took us a while. It took us a while to get to this part. I just think the engagement that we've got right now is because it's fair game to disagree with us. That's the biggest difference. I'm not going to just keep bringing up points. Oh, I agree with Boise. I hate all that. I like to be challenged.
You do.
I'll give you some brilliant examples. There's a guy like Rooster who watches, for example, who very often challenges. David Kelly comes in on a regular basis. I agree with a lot of it, but I can see it's kind of on the bone, some of his comments, for example. I've got no issue with that. Let's talk about the football, because it's what the bus does best.
It's meant to be like that sort of literally on like the supporters bus or at the pub or something. It's meant to be that kind of camaraderie. You know, we're not really like, we're coming on all formal and stuff like that. There's no airs or graces. What is that put in the blurb? The description was like unscripted, unapologetic, and unfiltered or something like that. I can't remember what it was. Something like
sounds familiar. That sounds familiar.
I can't remember. It basically began with UN each time. I can't remember the 3 words that I used, but it's in the description on the YouTube channel. I've done it a few months back. But no, it's going well, mate, and congratulations on that. And I'm more than happy to be part of this ride as well.
It's been as much as anyone, mate. Big thanks to you as much as anyone, Phil. I mean that.
So I didn't do any of this ever before, so it's kind of surprised me how it's how I've done so far up now. So thank you again for the opportunity. It's been amazing, mate. Thoroughly enjoyed
saying that, mate. It's brilliant fun though. It's something that me and you spend hours a week doing this, and that ain't going to change anytime soon. This is something that we really enjoy doing. Like, I like spending my evenings doing this. It feels to me like not being all fucking hangry. Like, had a business in my 20s, 22 years old, running a boozer. It was full pelt, mate. 65 hours a week, 60 behind the bar, 5 hours doing business stuff. This is pence we talk about with this stuff, right? And it is pence. But it's still the same buzz for me. It's still the same buzz watching something grow the same, watching the audience grow. I just think that's the kick I need. It's not about why you would run your own business and stuff. Far from it, because it's not there. But the other factors that you get the satisfaction of is seeing the engagement, seeing regulars come in. That's what it's like. The regulars swinging open the door. You know what I mean? I love that vibe. I probably should have called this the Boise pub.
The Boise pub. No, Boise bus does well. It obviously goes back to a previous pod and the whole "Are you on the bus?" type chat. So it's natural. It all came together really, really well.
To him for that.
Massively. Now, of course, the final thing we'll talk on. Another day, another dollar, another Boise bus controversy we need to address. It's been a lively week, Boise, in the social media world in particular. And I've got to say, I think you've got a right to be sort of smug on this one, because when it comes to Twitter, especially, mate, whenever a game's happened at Celtic, you're quite good with just coming on Twitter and saying what you think about certain players or style of play, whatever. Usually, I'll see a Russell Boyce tweet and I'll notice there's like 90 replies on it, and I'm like,
oh boy, no,
what's going to happen here? And obviously, there's been some tweets in the last few months that you came out and said to people, like, watch the board, and this player he's good, but he's not this £25 million player that everybody thinks. That player necessarily is underwhelming. I've noticed in the last week there's been a lot of people now are suddenly putting tweets out there like they're the ones that reinvented the wheel and are like, I always knew he was average. He's not really worth that type of price. Oh, this guy, he's an underwhelming signing. How's he going to progress us in the Champions League? It must be interesting when you go on Twitter and you're like, I literally said that like 3 months ago. Keep up.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even as long as that. I worked it out, right? It was like 5 weeks ago. Yeah. 5 weeks ago, Juranovic scored that mad OG mind.
Yeah. Against
and what really fucked me off with it was I felt his reaction was like a smile. And he's walking almost like that smugly, like, can't believe that happened to me. It's like, fucking, no, be frustrated, mate. And I went, I think, talk of that sort of fee was ridiculous in the first place. A decent player, but not at the level it's been portrayed at. I couldn't believe my eyes when I logged onto Twitter and seen that it felt like there had been a bit of a sea change on that, Phil, if I'm honest. Even I didn't see that. Even I didn't see that coming, because it was like, oh wow, people seem to be agreeing. There doesn't seem any abusive quote tweets. And I mean, when I posted that 5 weeks ago, fucking hell, man, they were after me. The Twitter at you were outside the door, mate.
Get the shields up, mate. Oh no,
banners, Boise out, crash your bus, you bastard, and all that nonsense. But I mean, I think people, the pennies dropping. I think I said on Twitter this time, and there was a lot of tweets about my hair and stuff, Phil, which you get all that. But I think a lot of people with actually, when you look at the thread and the comments, most people having sort of balanced debate about it and going, well, has he been that good this season?
Yeah.
Has Ralston actually maybe been a bit kind of left in the cold a bit, considering his numbers last year and what he's brought to the table this year, which again, I think is about 3 assists to Juranovic's 1. So yeah, it's interesting to see. I think sometimes it's very much shoot the messenger on Twitter, and that happens.
Yeah, of course. It's been interesting to watch that one and see the other stuff like about Moy. People are starting to realise that maybe he's not the type of player that's going to progress us in the Champions League. Which
maybe it was an underwhelming Champions League signing.
You say a decent enough squad player at SPL level, but it definitely wasn't the player that was going to take us on. We found ourselves in a position where he had to play because of injuries and whatnot. So it's like, well, bit of a stronger option there, but it's all done now, mate. It's all finito.
And hey, by the way, see when people agree with you on Twitter, they'll never tell you, like, by the way, I was at Elder when I was tweeting, I think someone was saying they hope the bus has the same fate as the Beards bus. I don't even know what the Beards bus is, but I don't think it was a pretty ending, judging by the guy's sort of vitriol. So you get to a stage on Twitter as well, where you'll see the odd notification, you'll go, fuck. Oh fuck, okay. Just block them and your life goes on. You're actually, who cares?
Exactly. It's they say Twitter is the great echo chamber, just people. But what I do is like to mute them so they scream into the abyss, basically. So they can still see that I haven't blocked them.
That's sadistic, Phil.
That's my tactic. I mute them when they're like coming in and being bam pots to me. It's like, oh, mute. Therefore they can't post a screen grab going, oh look, he blocked me. coward, he shat it, and it's like, no, I just muted you. So you can keep shouting and abusing me all you want, but I can't see it now, mate. So I'm just blissfully unaware. Anyway, that wraps. We've hit 15 minutes. We're actually on time this time. This bus is on time, mate, at this bus stop, so that's good.
Absolutely, mate. And it's it's one of those things, Twitter, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Twitter, there's always going to be naysayers, mate. There's always going to be naysayers. As long as people tell the truth, I'm comfortable with that, mate.
Indeed, mate. Indeed. Truth is something that you've definitely, dealt with since the moment I've first began talking to you, mate. What you see is what you get with Boise on the screen, by the way, totally. The guy that's on the screen, he's not like a wrestler playing a character or anything. He's definitely this guy.
I thought at lunchtime, Phil, I've got an idea.
Yeah, it literally went that way. It literally did. But that's been on a bus stop then. So yeah, as I say, it's pre-recorded. So I even though it's the end of the show now, I was still going to say, guys, we went live, so that's why we didn't acknowledge any of your comments. In case you came in midway through this and I tweet or put a comment in and going, why are they not bringing my comment up? Because we can't. It's not live. So
roll on Bustalgia tonight, mate. Martin O'Neill month comes to an end. Just be new here.
Oh, it's that last season though. Oh,
it's an awkward one.
It's an awkward one. But you know what? We'll do it, man. We'll get in the trenches and we'll talk about it. We have to talk about helicopters changing direction and shit like that. So it's like it needs to be done, sadly, because it's Martin O'Neill's last
5 months too late.
What a player though.
Juninho's rise, mate. Juninho's debut. We'll be talking about that tonight. Wow.
Aye, we shall indeed. Yeah, we'll be
on it, mate.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, that wraps up the episode 2 of the bus stops. This is going to be a regular thing. This will drop every weekend, just out of nowhere. You won't get any pre-note. It'll just appear. It'll just be like, this is starting now. So you got to catch it while it's there. So, but yeah, that wraps us up. So, Russell, thanks again for having a wee candid powwow with me again, mate. And
always, mate.
Off we head now to the Bustalgia bus, mate, and to get the time traveling circuit switched on, mate. We are off.
See you at 9 o'clock.
Yep, I'll see you then, mate.